I think about it a lot, and it's very much a spider web. Like once you start to think about, you ask yourself the question, should I require my people to go back or not? Man, it just spiders. First and foremost, at the core of a company, especially ours, is our people. You know, they're our lifeblood, they're our creativity, they're what makes us who we are. And so I have to start with, as a leader, you know, what's best for them, what's best for the company. And I tend to think that ultimatums aren't a great idea, especially for us. And so what's been in the news a lot lately are companies saying, you must come back to this office space, kind of, or else. And that's not the approach we've taken. The approach we've taken instead is one of flexibility. What we've done is think about each employee, each employee's role, and specifically whether the role is better suited to an in-person or office space type operation, or whether the role can be performed remotely without much impact to the productivity or to the effectiveness of the role. So when we took all of that into account, we decided, you know, look, in this case, it's not best for us to give an ultimatum and say everybody must come into this physical space at this time. Instead, what we said is, first, we're gonna be flexible, we're gonna figure this out, nobody knows all the answers. But as we're looking at our people, we're looking at roles. For example, we'll have some call center roles where people are providing phone support to our customers. Doesn't always lend itself well to working remotely, especially if there's not a strong Wi-Fi signal, if there's not, you know, a good telephony solution. So, you know, we may look at that role and some of those people and think, some part of that role may be performed better in an in-person setting. Then you may have software developers who will say, I have fewer distractions at home, jokingly, but in some cases it's real. Developers will say, I have a better hardware setup in my house, in my basement, than I would have in the office, even if the office setting is great. So you look at that role and then those people and try to think what's best for those people. And then of course, what's challenging as a leader is to take all of that together and try to figure out how that translates into physical space. We've been thinking about the office space less as a place where from 9 to 5 you put your butt in a seat and stare at a PC, and more of a space where we come together to collaborate, to work on things, and to spend less time on your PC and more time interacting with people, designing things, problem solving, and building sort of a cohesive team together. When we come to the office, we want to come to the office together to solve problems and have a happy hour, or to solve problems and talk about interpersonal things. And then we can solve for more of the things you have to do at your PC, work on spreadsheets, reports, you know, things like that. Do that in your home workspace. And so right now we'll have employees, I think you'll see an overwhelming number of employees say, I like the flexibility I have now. I miss the office, what it used to be, but what they miss, right, is not sitting at a desk and staring at a computer. They're doing that now. They've been working the whole time. What they miss is the interaction, the physical space, the camaraderie, and some of the events that happen at the office space. So when we think about returning to the physical office, I think a lot of the logic of requiring people to go back into the same physical space, kind of, or else, is flawed. I think that will result in a lot of attrition, unfortunately, for those companies, but a benefit for others who are willing to stay flexible. So when we think about back to the office, we're trying to embrace the change, embrace the new opportunities, meet our people where they are, and offer them flexibility going forward. Of course, it won't work for everybody. I'm sure there will be challenging situations, but we believe that if we remain flexible and trust our people, we'll be able to find the best path forward for us. And it, you know, and like I've said, it may change. What we do in January may be different from March, may be different from September, but we believe if we stay flexible, trust our people, and try to find something that works best for them, it'll ultimately work best for the company.